My guest today is 1/3 of Hawaii's most beloved female trio. She's also the marketing genius behind the brand that has garnered over 20 #1 hits and over 20 Na Hōkū Hanohano awards spanning over 4 decades. We're sitting with singer-songwriter Nalani Jenkins of Na Leo Pilimehana right here on the Artist Spotlight.
Local boys will keep you warm throughout the coldest nights.
Mahalo for joining us right here in the Kanilea Ukulele Sound Studio. I'm Lina Girl sitting with Nalani Jenkins of Na Leo Pilimehana. Thank you, sister, for joining me.
Oh, thanks for the invite.
This is awesome. You folks have been making music as Na Leo Pilimehana for, are we talking like 4 decades already?
Yeah, actually, next year is 40 years since Brown Bags. But I actually call it 5 decades because it was the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and now 2022. Still together, the same 3 girls, the same name, the same group.
That is amazing. And yes, there's a lot of beautiful musical history in that. But can you take us back to the beginning? Back to the beginning for Nalani. When did music, catch your heart? When was it important for you to start making music?
Like most kids in Hawaii, I grew up around music. My mom and dad loved to throw parties. We lived out in Mokuleia. They were part of the Wailua Hawaiian Civic Club. Loyal Garner was our musical director for the club.
Are you serious?
Like, how's that?
That's history. I mean,
right?
that's like
And so we had a
legacy.
piano in the house, and Loyal used to come and play, and I think I was about 4 years old. And Uncle George Kalekini used to sit there with his ukulele, and I brought my little ukulele, and he said, "Come, baby, come sit next to me." And he said, "Just watch Uncle's hands." And so I would watch him, and the only one I could play was C, because that was kind of easy for my fingers. And so he goes, "Okay, you get them." So when I'm making the C, he goes, "You play. When I change, you no play." I go, "Okay." So I would play C. Like all night long, just C. So I love when he was playing in C, right? Because I could play. And then, the next time you get together, he goes, "Come, I'll go teach you one more chord." And I think it was F, right? and it goes on from there. And I think that's the nature of how you learn, especially as Hawaiians, right? It's watch me, I show you, now you go try, right? It's not classroom. It's also very forgiving environment because nobody can hear me if I'm 1 fret off or if I get on the wrong string. Everybody's just there enjoying the music.
You're sitting at the feet of legends learning as a little girl. That's crazy.
I guess. I mean, I'm sure you did too, right?
But that's amazing.
It's you get to absorb all of that. And then I think shortly thereafter, I asked Mom I wanted to learn to play piano. So I started playing piano, but I think I was a little young, so I didn't really take lessons. I would just kind of play by myself and try to...
Learning by ear.
Yeah, learn by ear. I don't think I was very good, but at least it was a start. And then, the musical journey continued when I got into Kamehameha.
Right. Kamehameha Kapalama.
Yeah.
And this is where you meet your 2 sisters, right?
Yes.
Your 2 sisters of Na Leo Pilimehana.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So Angie, I met in the 1st grade. I started in kindergarten. She was a new 1st grader, which is unusual.
Yes.
Right? So you kind of notice, like, who's the new girl, 1st grade? And she looked similar to she looks like now, like kind of rugged,
Oh, Angie, rugged.
And so we would be out at the playground, and she would bring her ukulele, and I'm like, well, I want to be friends with her. So I brought my ukulele out to the playground, and we'd sit under the tree.
Wait, this is elementary school time?
Yeah, the blacktop?
Yes. Oh, my gosh. Oh,
yeah,
yes.
where we used to all play and skin our knees.
Yes.
Right?
So the blacktop is just a asphalt parking lot, and that was our playground.
Yeah, for the young elementary,
Yes.
like kindergarten through 3rd grade.
Yes.
I think we took
all of
recess.
us had skin knees, skin hands, everything. Abrasions. That was our first word we learned. Abrasion.
But you could play tetherball out there. You could play all kind, sports, I guess we would play.
Yep.
But me and Angie found ourselves under the tree playing ukulele.
So that was elementary school time, but where does Lehua come in?
Well, Miss Lehua Kalima came to Kamehameha schools in the 7th grade from Hilo. I was living in Mokuleia, and so they gave me a little exemption. Even though I was an Oahu kid, I could be in the dorms. So we met and realized that she and I both loved to play piano. And so, you know, we loved like Stevie Wonder. Okay, and like the key Stevie Wonder plays in is I don't know what, right? Like
I don't think anyone, only he knows.
E flat, A flat, right? Like hard kind.
Yeah.
And so we'd buy sheet music, and neither of us could play the whole song by ourselves. But if one played one hand, one played the other hand, we could get through it. And so we would spend hours in the piano room in the dorm, and just playing sheet music and hanging out. And so yeah, she was my best friend from 7th grade.
That's so crazy. And then we get up to high school.
Got up to high school, and all three of us, coincidentally, tried out for Concert Glee our junior year. A lot of people maybe go their sophomore year.
Right.
I don't know what we were doing sophomore year. We missed it. And so me, Angie, and Lehua separately all tried out for Concert Glee, got in, and during Concert Glee camp, which is right before school starts, they said, who wants to play in the combo? Now, Angie was a great chanter and a great hula dancer. Lehua is a much better dancer now. And she comes from a great hula family, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, Lehua and I were not good dancers. And so I remember at Concert Glee doing with Holo'ua Stender, right, who ended up naming Na Leo. But we're over there doing hula, and Holo is shaking his head at us like, oh my gosh, these two, get in the back row, right? And so when they said combo, I was like, yes, I'll do the combo, because that meant that we got to
play music,
not have to dance hula.
Not have to dance.
And we could accompany the hula dancers. I was surprised Angie tried out too, because she was such a good dancer and chanter. So Angie tried out, Harrison Murray, and like 3 or 4 other boys that were part of Concert Glee at the time. So there was this large group, and little by little, it sort of just became the 3 of us, the 3 girls.
So you're kind of the glue between Angie and Lehua through your different histories together, and then the 3 of you guys come together and make this
That's why I'm in the
incredible
middle.
sound. I thought you were in the middle because those 2 guys are a little bit more brown than you. Like an Oreo cookie.
Like an Oreo, okay. The white one in the middle, yes. Stuck them together. I'll take that.
That's amazing. So, but when we're talking about the start of Na Leo Pilimehana for the rest of the world, right? We're kind of talking about local boys, right?
Yes.
We're talking about local boys.
Yes.
Which is brown bags. Was it written specifically for brown bags?
No. Actually, it was written for a trip we took to Hilo. So we were combo. We were playing for like, border dinners, whatever. So we're kind of like a band already. And we went to Hilo to play for one of Lehua's family weddings. On the way back, we were on the airplane. I had my ukulele in my hand because I didn't want it to get broken, right? So I was like hand carrying it literally. And then these 3 not so brown guys, I think they were maybe military. And they were way too old for us, by the way. So they were kind of making little comments, like kind of hitting on us. And I was like, who are these guys, right? So I tried to ignore them. I played my ukulele. And then they kind of kept at it. So I had this chord progression in my head, no words yet. And so sassy, no Hōkū, I just decided to sing Blue Eyes and Blonde Hair Don't Thrill Me, 'cause I'm in love with the local boys. And they got the hint, I guess, and they stopped. And that was it. It was maybe 2 or 3 lines of a song. Fast forward maybe 6 months later, we were getting ready to enter Brown Bags, and we said, you know what, let's do something original. What do we have that's original? And they go, what about that song you you wrote? I said, what song I wrote? The song on the plane. I go, what song on the plane? And they go, Local Boys. I go, oh my goodness, that's not even a song. It was just
It's 2, 3 lines,
it was
right?
just a thing. And they go, well, go write them. And so I wrote it, and we sang it, and I never dreamed that it would be anything.
Local boys will keep you warm throughout the coldest nights.
It was just a spontaneous thing. We weren't going to join Brown Bags, and we just decided flat off to join, and we decided might as well take an original and see how it goes.
We're hiding in the back because we thought we lost, we're kind of ashamed, but we didn't expect it at all.
From Kamehameha schools, Na Leo Pilimehana. They sang the song Local Boys. Congratulations.
History, sister. History. Number one selling song in Hawaii's music history.
Yeah, number one selling single.
Single.
Because that's back in the day when you had 45 singles. And so I have still the 45 of that.
Oh, 45 is a record, in case you don't know.
It's a record,
youngins.
smaller, with a bigger hole in the middle.
Yeah, bigger than a CD. Yeah. Wow, sister. And now we fast forward, what are we looking at? Like the 40 years since Local Boys. And you folks have written and produced your own music, recorded your own music. And we're looking at upwards of 20 number one hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Na Hōkū Hanohano awards in every single decade. Did you ever think?
Now, not every single thing we did got an award, I'm just going to say. But we did manage to get one in every decade since the 80s.
Since the 80s.
Yeah.
Did you ever think when you folks were playing music as high schoolers together that it would go this far?
No way. No way. First of all, when you really are like doing what we're doing, you're just doing it for fun.
Sure.
Right? You're doing it with your friends, you're jamming, you're doing it for school, right? No thought of it being a career.
Well, at what point did Na Leo Pilimehana become a career? I mean, at one point, there's a shift, right? There's a shift from this is good fun to this can be a business or this is a brand. At what point did that happen for you folks?
So I would say that was probably in the 90s. We had done Local Boys and then we went to college. We had got married, had babies, families. We're starting careers. We're still in the this is hobby, friendship kind of stuff. And then Lehua wrote Flying with Angels. And that was really the big piece of it for us.
You fly with angels above us all, and I'll be here to catch you if you fall.
I remember I was a bank manager. We were so I had a good career going. Lehua was working, Angie was working, but we'd get together on the weekends. And I had a house out in Haleiwa on the beach. And so what should have been a 1 or 2 hour rehearsal would go like all night till the next morning. And we'd wake up and go again. And one night Lehua said, hey, I wrote this song. And she pulled out her guitar and started playing Flying with Angels. And Angie and I just started singing along as if we had heard that song our whole life. It was kind of eerie. Our band was there. They all picked up. You know how guys do, right?
Yeah,
like they know, yeah, they're like, oh, they're following along, they're feeling it. And at the end, I looked at Lehua and I said, oh, darn, we have to make another record, you know? But having been in the business, so to speak, not really the business side, but being in the industry and performing and gigging, I said, but this time, like, let's do it ourselves. And so we had to learn how to do that.
Here is Flying Angels, Na Leo Pilimehana.
It was their shining moment. Nalani Choi, Lehua, Kalima, and Angela Morales, known as Na Leo Pilimehana, captured 4 Na Hōkū Hanohano awards.
And I really think that that's what helped to propel that brand is your marketing sense. You know, a lot of our Hawaii bands, our Hawaii artists, a lot of them, they create, but they don't know the business behind making music, right? They know how to make music. They don't know the business that supports it, what it takes to go into a studio, the costs of mixing, mastering, all of that, and, you know, branding and the marketing. And I think your marketing sense, because you've got that behind you with 721 LLC, right? You have that marketing sense that helps to take Na Leo Pilimehana, not just in Hawaii, but take it out to the continent, take it out into other countries. Right now in Japan, you guys are like goddesses, right? No, I mean, but just, I mean, and knowing that you guys are doing that with your own music. For anybody that's watching, what would you say to a singer-songwriter who is up and coming about the importance of intellectual property?
Wow, where would I start? You know, I think because I'd gotten my degree in business, right? So I knew that there were fundamental things that any business, and if you're going to treat your music like a hobby, it'll stay a hobby. You treat it like a business, it can become a business, right? And so I remember seeing a local attorney, and I really couldn't afford it at the time. So I asked him how much does he charge. He said $150 an hour, and I literally like fished $150 out of my pocket, which is probably all the money I had. And I said, talk fast. What do I have to know? And he gave me a lot of good information about intellectual property. So he also said at the end of the hour, go buy this book. It was called Music, Money, and Success, written by two longtime record label industry guys. Now, this is the 90s, so it's probably a little outdated because it doesn't have all the new digital stuff, but it had probably 25 or 30 chapters, each one on different revenue streams. How do you copyright? How do you protect the copyrights? And then how do you monetize the copyrights, right? And so we had a book, we passed it around. I remember Lehua and Angie going, I ain't reading that. They brought it back the next day. They go, oh my gosh, that's so boring. I fell asleep. I was like, it's okay, I read it.
Oh, lucky, yeah? Somebody in the band wanted to read it.
The nerd. I read it.
But I think that's important because I think one of the things that I love about Na Leo Pilimehana is that when you folks write music for different milestones of life. You know, Flying with Angels, of course, is saying goodbye to loved ones, right? And then there's You Don't Remember, I'll Never Forget. And that's mama speaking to her newborn baby, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, Friends. I know Friends is not what you folks wrote, but Friends is what re-energized Na Leo Pilimehana towards, I think that was like 2000s, right?
Yeah. Well, it was in the 90s, but
late
I
90s?
heard it when I was away in college. And so it, for me, touched me here because although it was not written by us, it was the song that people would sing in Ohio as like, talent shows or a friend's leaving, so at their party or whatever. And I was like, that's such a good song.
Michael W. Smith, right?
Michael W. Smith. He's from that area. I went to school in New Concord, Ohio, and it was, I think he's from that tri-state area, like Pennsylvania, Ohio, and
and then you bring that song back, and it becomes the song that hits the milestone of graduations, or that moment where friends are together, and there's going to be a time where the friends have to, pull apart for whatever reason. Life pulls us apart.
And friends are friends forever if the Lord's a Lord of them. And a friend who will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends.
So Na Leo Pilimehana's music is on the milestone of all of those important moments in our lives. And I think it's important to protect that music, right?
It is. It is. Our songs are our babies, right? Our group, the name, who we are, right? All of those things. It's like you come together for a very special purpose. And so you want to protect that. And I think people just don't always know how. And I guess if there was one thing I would say to everyone is like, you can learn. Okay? It's like renting your house versus owning your house, yeah? When you own your house, you take care, you paint them, you clean the yard. When
You're
you
going to try a
rent,
little bit harder.
yeah, because that's yours, right? So even when we would produce songs, if there were songs that we wrote, it came from us, and then we would get together and we'd really like arrange it and massage it and
More effort, more care put into it when it's yours.
yeah. And I have to give Angie credit because she's like, well, what can I do to help, right? Like she goes, you got the business side. And so she was our keeper of our opus. And we still have folders for every single album we did with every master copyright in it and all the mechanical license for the people that wrote other compositions and the sound recording copyrights and everything.
She's
in
your
there.
historian. She's your she's your memory keeper.
Yeah, yeah. And that was another piece of advice when I went to see that attorney. He said, write as much as you can, sing as much as you can, record as much as you can, own it all, and you'll have something to look back on for your career.
A legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, you need something to make music with.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we love featuring all of our artists here at the Kanile Artist Spotlight. And wanted to know if we could please present you with something very special, which, by the way, Nalani had her hand in. And this is her receiving her
I'm actually kind of like, my heart is beating.
her own Kanile'a ukulele. Now, I know that Nalani is an ukulele player. It's the first thing she played. She shared with us when she was 4 years old.
I've learned at least one more chord since then.
Only C. But for most of my life that I've been seeing Nalani on stage, she was always with a guitar. She was the guitar player, the official guitar player of Na Leo Pilimehana. And so when we got a chance to build something special for her, we knew that it needed more than 4 strings. Because as a guitar player, 4 strings is just not enough for her. So we wanted to present you with this beautiful gift on behalf of the Susa Ohana, who love you very much, and our Kanile Ohana, welcoming you to our Ohana, our family. This is for you.
I'm so excited.
And I'm excited because you and your love were a very big part of this. Nalani actually gathered the sand from her home on the North Shore side that we got a chance to put into this instrument. You ready? It's all yours, sis. Here we go. I hold them for you.
Thank you. Okay.
Zipper.
You know, I know it's going to sound amazing, but the Kanileu ukulele are like, they're a work of art.
They are.
So.
And you know, she insisted to keep it simple. I was like, I want to put birds all over it, and I want to put all these fancy inlays. And she's like, no, I want it nice and simple.
My goodness. Oh, beautiful. So
we've got
what kind of wood is this?
This is master grade curly coil.
I'll try not to cry on the ukulele.
You cry all over her. Because we have a UV cured polyester finish on there, so she can cry all over it. We can wipe it down. And we've got gorgeous binding, top and front and back binding here. We've also got our true relief body. So when you play, you'll be able to play for hours with that. You see how it just kind of pulls back. You'll be able to bring your arm right around it.
That's where I always get the
You're not
the
going to
mark
get that
on my
anymore.
arm.
You're not going to get that anymore. You have a side sound port. So for anybody who is a musician, this is kind of like your monitor. So you get to hear the true sound of your ukulele. Well, I get to hear the true sound of your ukulele.
I've never played
well.
a ukulele with the sound coming
port.
this way. So this is a first for me too.
Yeah.
Okay, is it tuned?
I want to say yes. Kaimana tuned it. So if it's flat, it's his fault.
Oh, it's perfect. C.
Of course, she's going to play C as your first. And we have your name, Nalani, and our Kanile'a logo, and that just very elegant rosette. And that is your North Shore sand. The sand that you and Tracy gathered together. Yeah.
That was very special.
Yeah. And that's what's going to make it yours forever and ever and ever.
And I got to go with the Susas. They came with me.
Yes.
In fact, I was being like, nah, no need. And they're like, no, need.
It's important.
It's important.
That this is a part of you. Absolutely.
The pitch is perfect. Usually you start getting up here, it doesn't sound so good. This one sounds
gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Thank you for being a part of our family, sister.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you for talking story with me.
Okay, I'm not putting it down, so.
Don't you put it down. Don't you put it down.
Thank you so much. I am beyond excited.
Well, she's got a little bit of North Shore in her, so maybe a little North Shore serenade is expected. But sister, how can our family and our friends and anybody that's watching, how can they connect with Na Leo?
Oh, easy. NaLeoPilimehana.com. We're on Facebook, whatever. Come to a show, say hi. We're pretty friendly.
We kind of like you. Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, Nalani Jenkins of Na Leo Pilimehana right here with Kanile'a Ukulele. Okay, play a little bit more for me.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Tiha. Who's she ring?
Wherever you go in the islands, you see the Pilemehana on the street, but my eyes never wander